Hello, everybody. We are back again with another episode of the Austin Comedy Network podcast. Today, we are joined by our special guest, Miss Celia Contreras.
I took the short bus here.
You might know Celia from some of her recent appearances on Kill Tony. Celia has been a friend for a few weeks now. She just recently moved here to Austin, and since then, she's just been a star, an absolute trailblazer. From the very moment I saw your first set, I came to him like, dude, I don't know. Where are you from, for one? Where are you from? That was a really great set. And I told you from that moment on, you're going to be something great. Whatever you're doing, you just need to stay dedicated to it. First, I went through a bunch of questions like, oh, where are you from? How many years have you been doing comedy? Because you're always just curious. I hope somebody didn't do this in a month.
No, and I felt bad because so many comics came up to me like for the first week and they're like, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, 7 years. Oh my God, I felt so bad about myself. Been doing it for 3 months. No, you're doing great, sweetie.
Today we are also joined by our recent producer, our recent addition to our production team, Mr. Patrick Carpenter himself. Patrick will be helping us produce quite a few of the episodes coming up.
They're paying you in babes, aren't they?
Yeah. That's exactly how we're paying him. And when I get to Mike's early, I try to sign him up. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Called it.
That's how we do it here, baby. Come on now. We're all about trading commodities, not money. Though money is important. I'm pretty sure he wishes he was paid. But hey, we're starting something from the ground, and that's just the process of going through it. Celia, you just recently had a fucking amazing Kill Tony appearance.
Yeah.
It will go down as maybe one of the most emotionally entrenched episodes like in Kill Tony history. How do you feel about being part of such a big moment on the show, and how does it feel that with the recent attention? Your Instagram, I think, tripled overnight. Your video did over 1 million views on TikTok, the clip of it. Your Kill Tony episode, almost every comment was about, oh my God, I love Celia Contreras. I never cry at videos on YouTube, but I cried over this.
So many people personally DM'd me and said, dude, you had me crying like a little bitch. Me and my wife were laughing and then we were crying. And so many people told me that.
Yeah, and I felt it in my heart when I watched your episode too. As somebody who personally knows you and watches how you get up on stage every day and kill it, and then when you sit there and we come home at night and and we talk about, we have those late deep conversations about our past and stuff, and just knowing where you came from and the things that you have to struggle with, even throughout your entire journey through comedy in Phoenix. You did not have an easy time while you were out there. Even though you were a great performer, it wasn't easy. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey? What made you decide to get into comedy in the first place?
So I talked about it a little bit on the interview. Like, I wanted to do comedy since I saw George Lopez, Why Are You Crying? Mm-hmm. And I didn't say this. So what made like George Lopez so special for me was like my parents weren't bad people, they were just flawed people, and my dad was a mean drunk. Like when he was sober, he was the nicest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. But first it was alcohol and then it was everything else, and he just got angry. So the night before, he had beat the hell out of my brother. Mm-hmm. Like really beat the shit out of him. And I don't know if that's the same night he broke my sister's nose. No, that was a different night. But so like all this shit happened. The cops were called. My dad was taken to jail for a night. He got out the next day and he went to Hollywood Video and he's like, I got this. And he pops it in. And it was just fucking magic. Mm-hmm. Watching somebody talk about the fucked up shit, the negativity, getting the shit beat out of you. Because George Lopez, his first special was actually pretty dark.
Yeah. That's back before he went Hollywood and was a true to the art form stand-up comedian. I don't say true to the art form. At the end of the day, comedy is about making people laugh regardless. You're a lot more incentivized as a comic to clean up your act, particularly when you're entrenched in a field like Hollywood, where you're making movies or TV shows.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing. Like, one, I loved his like sitcom, The George Lopez Show. Loved that. Like, he's a great actor. One of my favorite movies is Hardwired, where he plays anything that just is Mexican. I'm all like, yeah. And then he's had the Lopez Show tonight for a while. But yeah, one of my life dreams is to actually meet him. I've heard he hates other Mexican comics. and doesn't want to help him out. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I get it.
But you would still want to meet him regardless.
Yeah, because I want to thank him.
Because he inspired you to become what you are today. Do you think seeing that special, that moment changed? Was that your first exposure to comedy?
My dad always loved stand-up comedy, but it was the first person he was talking, and I understood what he was saying.
And you got the jokes.
Yeah, we got the jokes, and he was talking about going to Disneyland, and like when I went to Disneyland with my family, we left after 20 minutes because it started sprinkling because my dad didn't want to be there. We went to SeaWorld and we spent more time there.
I'm sorry, did you say you went to Disneyland and left in 20 minutes?
Yeah, my dad said, fuck this, it's raining. And there's too many white people here.
No, the second one is a good reason to leave, but the first, because it's raining, that's actually pretty crazy.
He just wanted to leave and he used it as an excuse. We went to SeaWorld the next day, and that also changed my life because killer whales are my favorite animal.
So stand-up and killer whales, and these are two things that I know very well about you. Oftentimes we'll be smoking or tripping on mushrooms or something, and you'll bring up like, hey, I'm about to go to my room and go watch some killer whale videos for a few hours. I'm like, a few hours?
No, I've spent like whole mushroom trips just watching killer whale videos.
I'm like, that's
and not just the pretty, like them swimming like majestically. I'll straight up watch them tearing a seal apart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're fucking majestic.
Eating sharks' livers out.
They're so fucking smart. And my brother was laughing at me because I talked to him the other day about it.
Man, I seen this video the other day on YouTube. I was watching a short, and there was this little sea lion, and he was just chilling. He was basking, like having the time of his life. And all is this orca just pop up and look over the ice. Says, say no more. You just see him disappear back under the water. Then you just see an overhead shot of a drone and just 3 orcas all at the same time, like in perfect synchronicity. Just
washing them off.
Yeah, they came up. It was the seal was on like this large
ice floe.
Yeah, it was a huge ice sheet though. It was about several hundred feet long, if not several thousand feet. And they came up from under the ice all at the same time and broke it into smaller pieces.
Yeah.
And then they'd wash the seal off by coming back again and doing the thing with the water. But I thought, yeah, they're super interesting. Cetaceans are some of the smartest animals on Earth. So like dolphins and killer whales are the biggest cetacean in the world, but
they're the biggest member of the dolphin family.
Yeah, which are cetaceans.
Yes, but so are whales. They're also in the cetacean class.
They are. You're right. You're correct about that. But yes, they are the largest form of dolphins. Is the subspecies, I think.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I will nerd out about killer whales. Mm-hmm. I've read way too many books about them. I'm documenting the attacks in Spain. And I was like, my brothers, aren't they attacking people? Because like I have one friend who like, all my friends in Phoenix, like they actually always said it's like, you're gonna make it. You're funny. But, like, they'd buy me beers and shit, and, like, it's like, I'll pay you back later, and they're like, just buy me a boat when you're famous. And it's funny, because my friend Shelby lost her goddamn mind. And she's all like, I just saw the episode, we're getting a boat! And I'm like, we're not getting a fucking boat yet. But, yeah, what should we name the boat? Also, I looked at boats, they're fucking expensive.
What is the most famous killer whale's name? Is it Tillamook? What's his name? What was his name? Was his name Tillamook?
You know what? I would say he's more famous because he killed people.
Yeah.
All right.
That is what makes a killer whale famous.
So the 3 most famous killer whales in Shamu, like...
Shamu is very famous, yes.
But I guess the most known about Shamu, they die fast in captivity. Like, in the wild, they, like, live to their 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
In captivity, like, Tilikum lived a long while. I think he died at 27.
In fact, cetaceans are so smart that they're one of the few animals on Earth that actually have the ability to commit suicide.
Yeah. Because breathing for them isn't like it is for us. So, like, we don't have to think about breathing. They actively have to breathe and think about it. Like, when they inhale, it's, like, left brain, and then, like, when they exhale, right brain or whatever, and it goes out of the blowhole. But they consciously stay down there because they have to go back up, but... And they just don't. They're, like, literally just holding their fucking breath.
Wouldn't it be crazy if one day you went out into the ocean and you just saw a majestic pod of dolphins and then they just start talking shit. Like, they just start speaking English. Fuck you! Start talking shit. I saw your episode on Kill Tony. Wouldn't that be the craziest thing? But they only talk when you're alone. Would that be
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. But that would be one of those things that is so crazy.
I respond better to negative comments than positive comments. If this Roseanne shit had happened 4 years ago, I would be like, yeah, no, this ain't real at all. And I'd probably be mean about it. It's like, you're fucking stupid. What the fuck are you talking about? If you tell me I'm a piece of shit, I'm like, yeah. But it took, because the pig's blood comment, I said that to comics when I moved to Phoenix. I'm like, why are you being so nice to me? Because you're funny and you're polite. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you're extremely funny. You're extremely polite. You're very generous. And you're truly a kind-hearted person. You're a good spirit. And I think everybody has recognized that from the moment they seen you. And it's so funny because probably 3 days before Kill Tony, we were tripping, and you were saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a job. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go start working at McDonald's or something." Like, I don't know what you're saying. You're talking about, because we were tripping, or I was tripping pretty hard, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm about to go start. I'm gonna get like a conventional job because I need money or whatever. I don't want to end up going broke, even though I have stuff saved up. You know, I'm not doing bad, but I want to get a job because I'm not making like income and I want to sustain." And I'm like, "Oh my God, like." I don't know what's telling me to tell you this, but the universe is telling me to tell you, don't get a job. And I was like very adamant about that. I was like, don't get a job. I'm like, there's so many people I see who get a job, and I mean, it's just because comedy is one of those things, one of those art forms where you have to dedicate like a lot of time and effort and energy into it to truly succeed. And unfortunately, like, working is one of those things that can easily distract you and take away from your time. And people are all about patterns. So it's easy to do mics once you've got adjusted to it. Once you've got adjusted to doing shows and mics, and it's become easy to do 3, 4, 5 things a day. It's just commonplace at that point. Now, once you get to the point where you miss a day, then it becomes 2 days. It becomes 3 days. Then you only go out to do one thing in one night. And then it spirals, and it ends up becoming a pattern of you not being able to get out or write or invest the time that you want. And you are one of the truly talented people where I'd say you are already at the point. Sure, you don't have quite the amount of material that you want to have written up to be able to do very lengthy shows or release a special, but you are truly an extremely hilarious person. You're a talented comic. And I mean, I was telling you, like, and I literally said to you at that moment, I said, wait for your next Kill Tony appearance. I'm like, I know that you're going to go on again soon because you fucking killed it last time. I'm like,
okay, the bucket isn't rigged.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I know you're going to go back on.
I just want to say that.
Yeah, I did not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I know you're going to go on again soon because you fucking killed it last time. And sure enough, like the universe was speaking, a few days later. And what did I say at that time? I said, people are going to offer you jobs when they see you. I said, all you need is exposure. I said, you are talented. Like, and I can't, and even to this moment, I can't stop drilling it out enough because I truly love when I meet people like you, like truly talented people who are humble. Like, you're so humble about your talent. You will never admit to the world that you have talent. Never. I just don't believe like it's in you, and it's something that you're gonna have to work on. Just so many of us have to grow because comedy is laughter is one of those things. Comedy is subjective, but laughter internally and externally, understanding comedy, it's laughter. Laughter is on a paradigm, right? Happiness, the paradigm or the polarity to happiness is pain, right? Which is why so many people who are in artsy fields, particularly like comedy, had so much that they went through as a child or as a teenager. Like, trauma is what builds these massive characters. I think there's a quote that goes like, the most massive characters are covered with like tons of scars or something like that. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
I haven't heard that one.
But I do want to ask you, I want to get into that a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your early life. What was it like? Where did you grow up exactly? And what was it like in your childhood years? Like, how was it?
All right. I grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is a mountain town. It's on the way to Grand Canyon. Historic Route 66 passes through it. I don't know if it goes through California too, so I'm sure they mentioned it in
Yeah,
your
you
school.
lived right off your Route 66, yeah.
Yeah. But also, I'm not going to do that. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Route 66 reaches from one end of the United States to the other, and it goes through various states. But it's one continuous highway, and you don't need to fucking know this. I'm sorry. But we had it drilled into our heads at school because it goes through Flagstaff. It's we fancy.
Yeah, we also had to drill through our heads. We went through, not quite drilled, but every year we had an annual car show, like a Route 66 car show in San Bernardino, California. Yeah, because I lived right off of Route 66, whether it was San Bernardino, Rialto, Fontana. They're all right off of Route 66. The street there is called Foothill. But yeah, Route 66 goes all throughout the country, and most of it now isn't really like a highway, though you can still drive through it. It's like more.
It's like a touristy thing. And
yeah.
There's attractions all throughout it because it was like a big deal. Like in what was it, the 70s or 60s? I don't remember. Like also look
the
this
tate
shit up
Cars
for
is
yourself
based
if
off
you're
of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good movie.
I used to feel good about that.
Every time I see it, I don't want to go cow tipping.
So yeah, you were saying that Route 66 was a big thing in your town, in
Yeah.
Flagstaff.
Also, I don't know why. I know why, because my mom was fat. Like, I'm fat.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, there was levels of fatness. Like,
As a fat person myself, I identify with this.
Yeah. Well, this is... I'm technically not at my fattest anymore, but I do feel like I'm rounder.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been exercising and shit, and I'm like, ugh, I hate it. And every time I won't get off this. I want everybody to know how much I hate fucking stairs. From the bottom of my heart, I despise them. I'm fat for a reason. Just kidding. No. I want to be healthy, but fuck stairs. Just like, why?
No, I completely agree with you. I'm also fat. Fuck stairs.
Skinny people don't like them either.
Nobody likes stairs. That's the
Yeah.
reality of it. I've seen very few people on the stair stepper when I've been to the gym.
But here's the thing.
That's a special breed of human.
Do you know what will get me up? Like, the one thing I won't go up, and I'm not proud of this, and you can all judge me for it, but fuck you, I'm afraid of escalators. It's a completely irrational fucking fear. There's no fucking reason.
I have some of those too. It's like the craziest thing ever because nobody would expect it, but I hate balloons and bees. I got stung in the ear as a child. I was minding my own business climbing this tree, and there was bees flying around, and just one happened to sting me in my ear. And I hadn't even done nothing to them. He just came out of nowhere and just attacked me. And after that, no longer fuck with bees. I don't want to be near any of them. I don't care if they make honey. None of that. But I don't like balloons either. And that's because my mom had a fear of balloons. And I don't know how, but that shit passed to me because I'm so scared of balloons. And it's just the fear of it popping for some reason. And it's an irrational fear. I understand it's childish, but for some reason, I don't. If you have a balloon, like a birthday, like plastic balloon, don't bring that near me. Don't bring a balloon near me.
Yo, I wish that people understood how to use escalators. Especially at, like, airports when people just stand on the escalator. I'm like, no, it's supposed to make you walk faster.
That's what they're for? You're lying. You're lying right now. There's no way that's what an escalator is for.
I've seen people do it, and I'm just all, okay, so
It just seems like
we've all been there.
It seems like the rational thing to do when you think about it, though. It's already moving. It's going to walk a little faster. But I don't know if I'm just...
It's like the stair version of those things at airports where you're, like, walking in, like, a straight line, and it helps you walk faster. It's at an incline. I don't know.
Oh my god, I was so glad when the escalators broke at Skankfest. There was stairs, but there was also an elevator, and my friends care about me. My friends love me, and I had two of my friends. Actually, I had a lot of homies from Arizona there. Some of them volunteered, and I took my ride or die homie. Actually, my best friend in the world is David Kays. But I take Hector with me, and I needed him there, because, like, I got shy, and I'm like, I don't want to bump through people. And he, like, grabs my hand, and he's like, come on. He's like, you're the talent, you get to cut through people. And I'm like, what? And also, I just cried. Like, when I found out I got into Skankfest, I started screaming and crying. And, like, I woke up, I, like, saw that it's all, like, Celia Contreras Skankfest, and I'm like, this is the polite fuck you, we went with another candidate. And I clicked it, it's all, and then I, like, the last word was in bold, it's like, offer. I'm like, what? And then, like, it registered, and I started screaming, like, really loud and, like, jumping up and down. To the point my roommate thought, like, I saw a rat or something. And he's like, are you okay? He's like, what the fuck, bitch? And I'm all like, I got into Skankfest! And he's all, fucking thought you were dying, you stupid bitch. And then he goes out the door because he was running late for work. And it's funny because he came back like 5 seconds later. He's like, I'm still running late, but I'm actually super proud of you. It's like, clean up your fucking room. And I'm like, okay.
How was the first time you went to Skankfest?
Good, because
You did a naked performance there, correct?
Yeah, I was more calm after that. Hector and Rob were like, make way. And I'm like, it's like having a weird little entourage. I'm like, I was thankful, and like, people are like, okay. But yeah, because they just be like, she's on the show, she has to get to the next one. And they just usher me through the crowd, because depending on the day, I'll be all like, yeah. Unless, like, really have to pee. I don't want to bump into anybody, because it's going to create a pinball effect. And then I'm going to cause a wave, and everybody was going to know it was me. But, like...
I feel like I'm pretty high right now.
I am
Could
too.
you pause that stream for just a second and pause the recording? Because the guy's downstairs and I keep getting distracted, and I need to go grab him real quick so we can continue.
Okay, who's coming?
Right back to it. Sorry about the interruption. Yeah.
We back.
We definitely got pretty high already because I keep losing track of. I feel like we keep going off into
I should have
tangents.
known better, but I didn't want to be drunk for this.
No, it's okay. It's okay because
So I
that's
smoked
what
more
it's
weed
about.
than I'm used to.
We're genuine.
And I don't function well on marijuana.
Oh, see, this is the whole idea of this podcast is to just create genuine, good feeling content with the people around the scene. And also, that's what the purpose of this podcast, at least, this podcast section of this comedy network. We want to expand into so many other things, like helping comedians do their skits, get their sets online, do street interviews. There's so much we have in store for this channel. And hopefully over the next few months, few weeks, really, we've been trailblazing so far. You see how quickly, like just a few weeks ago, I was telling you about this idea.
Yeah.
And over time, I
What
slowly...
impressed me is you said it and did it quickly.
Were there people watching that? No, right?
We back?
Wait, were we live?
No, it looked good.
Are we back?
Good. Good job, man.
You were watching it?
Hey, are we back live right now?
Miles? Yeah. I'm George.
George,
Wait, so are we live
are we
right
back
now?
live?
Huh?
Are we back live? Can you check? Because we had to stop it, and then now we're...
That's okay. And you lost her mic. Her mic was low for some reason.
Um,
You sure her mic is good? Now?
I am.
Okay, but is it streaming right now?
If you click streaming that on OBS, it's streaming for sure, 100%.
Wait, so nobody answered the question.
Because on YouTube it doesn't say it.
Have we been live most of the time?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now,
It's streamed, but... This is our first time testing the stream feature, but
no, you're not live.
I don't know.
so think
I don't even know if the
we
thing
just
is
23
working.
minutes. Streamed 5 minutes ago. You're not live.
Oh shit, I don't know
So
if I should
click
talk
live.
about...
Start.
Video that we publish will be
That's it,
edited
you're
down.
live.
Okay.
We
But-
back.
All right, we're back. Real quick, Celia, I want to try to collect this conversation a little bit and try to keep us on track. Because I did want to explore your early life and growing up in Flagstaff, Arizona a little bit, and we smoked that before, so clearly we keep losing track of going off on these tangents. So
Yeah.
let's try to keep it a little more cohesive.
I will say I was born broken. Like, literally. I was born with my leg not in my hip socket.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It just happens sometimes, and like they thought it was way worse than it was because there was supposed to be like 2 surgeries, but my family didn't have insurance at the time, and they like waited because like I was already starting to walk, but they noticed when I walked it didn't look right. It's because my bone wasn't in the hip socket; it was like just rotating around in my skin.
Cut. Sorry about that. It's not live. I don't know why. Let's check again the stream so we make sure everything is working.
Okay.
Let's press stop.
Cause it says live right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh okay.
Wait, can you check it again?
I don't know why it didn't show up. I go searching it.
some technical difficulties.
Yeah. It's okay, guys. I'm pretty sure the people will understand. This is only our third time. We've been working on this for a few weeks, and we just recently finally started to get content pushed out over these last 2 weeks. Like, over the...
It's like sex.
So, yeah.
It takes a couple tries to get it right.
No, for real, though. For real, though. But isn't that anything in life, right?
Yeah.
Nobody was born walking. Everyone has.
But, like, the thing was, I was walking.
Uh-huh.
But it looked off, and it's because my bone was just, like, going up against my skin and my muscle and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And tendons. But they thought I didn't have a hip socket at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they only did the surgeries on newborn babies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, why did you, like, wait so long to bring her? It's we didn't have insurance, and they said it was $500 without insurance or something like that. And they're like, so you don't have any money after this? No. So the doctor did it pro bono.
Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah, it's like on the house.
How old were you when you had the surgery?
I was 2, and I was the oldest kid they'd have done it on because they only had done it on newborns.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were born like did they know that when you left the hospital?
No, they didn't know until I started walking.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so I was like 18 months, and they were like looking at it and stuff. But it was supposed to be 2 surgeries because they thought they had to make an artificial cup
Uh-huh.
and put the socket in there. But they put me under, and I do remember that distinctly because they're like, "Okay, you're gonna go to sleep now." I'm like, "I'm not tired," and then I was out, and then I woke up in the hospital bed surrounded by people giving me presents, and I immediately threw up on one of the people who gave me presents.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that, and I remember it hurting.
You remember that?
I remember a lot of weird shit.
Wow.
But those are my earliest memories. You don't have to believe me.
Uh-huh.
But
I think I
don't feel
remember
like
up
it.
until I was about 4. I think 4 is my earliest memories I could recall. For me, at least. So, growing up in Flagstaff, you're telling me that Route 66 was a big thing in your city.
Yeah.
Okay. And George Lopez was the first stand-up comedian you ever watched.
Mm.
He's the guy that you kind
Picture it, 1996. Batman the Animated Series is on season 2 after school. Sorry.
of... Oh, yeah. Back then,
I
you
thought
had
it
to
was-
wake up early to catch cartoons.
They were all day on Saturday, but like right after you got off of school, it was Batman the Animated Series and Superman.
Uh-huh.
And then after they canceled, it was the Justice League, I think. But also, if we weren't watching that, we were watching X-Men Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it was the 90s. My sister was in the 80s. She's like, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. We later found out she was autistic. And she was right.
Yeah.
I love her.
That's one thing that people with autism do have a great
No, she
attribute
will,
at being
like,
is
she
correct.
Has no filter. And, like, when we found out, like, we found out 3 years ago she was autistic.
Uh-huh.
And no, I talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just cracks me up. I feel bad when she laughs at it too, but damn, Mom beat the autism out of you.
No, for real. That's how minorities do it. I know my black people were pretty much the same. There's no such thing as mental illness.
Yeah, act right and help your fucking cousin.
If anything, it might be demons.
Yeah.
Maybe demons.
Oh no, I was told that when I like started feeling sad and stuff, and like when I went to the psych ward. But like I had one, I don't even remember what the fuck her name was, but like I don't even think she was family. She was just one of the neighbors. But she's like, hey, is it possible God is punishing you for your sins, and that's why you might be trying to end your life because you're afraid to face the consequences? I'm like, oh, and one of my sisters told me I was being punished by God when I had my miscarriages. And I was the first person.
He told you that?
One of my sisters did.
Wow. No, one of your sisters told you that.
Yeah.
That's a cruel thing. But I don't know why girls are very sassy with their words when they fight.
Here's the thing. I had 4 brothers and 4 sisters. I would rather have the shit beat out of me by my brother than it was like...
The tongue
I
lashings
can't even
from your
remember
sister.
how many times me and my brother injured each other, and we had to go to the ER for that shit. By that time, my dad was a citizen, and we qualified for access. Changed fucking lives. And then my mom was taking advantage, and she's, oh no, we're getting this shit. Oh, no, the health insurance at Marriott, like they'd been working there long enough. They qualified. We didn't do access until after the divorce. Oh, there's 5 divorces. Jesus. Actually, it was like 5 widowings and a divorce. No, it was 2 divorces and 3 widowings.
What do you think was the roughest memory from your childhood?
It wasn't pretty watching my dad beat up my brother. My dad rarely went after me. And I think part of it was because I was crippled. And I think that's why my brother always beat the shit out of me. And I brought that up, and I don't remember. So here's the fucked up thing. My brother didn't really talk until he was 7. They'd call him the little mute. I don't remember the word they said in Spanish. But yeah, he didn't really talk until he was 7.
So does he also have autism?
No, he's just a slut. Like me. But I ain't married. He doesn't cheat on his current wife. He cheated on the last one, though. His meth. I think they both cheated on each other. I don't know. We probably shouldn't put this out.
We'll cut that part.
Yeah, because he watches my shit now. And also, I am paranoid about that. Because, like... Alright, so I will say this. One of my sisters... Okay, I'm not going to name them. But I was at her house, and it was when I just started doing comedy, and I was excited. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people here like me. And actually, I think it was year 2, and I'd come back to visit. And we were in her kitchen, and I was drinking a beer with her husband, and he literally was like, we should go to one of her shows and support her. And she said, no. And he's like, why not? It's because I hate stand-up comedians.
Wow, what does she have against stand-up comedians?
My family just doesn't respond well to happiness in general. It's like the crabs in the bucket thing. Like I've talked about with this many therapists. God damn it, when I get health insurance, I have to fucking break in another goddamn therapist. And every time I try and give them the cliff notes, but they're like, no, let's go back to what you just said. They did what to you? And I'm like, oh, no, it was fine. You said your father dragged you out of bed and threatened to bury you alive. And I'm like, yeah, but it's fine. He was drunk. And she's okay. I had one therapist. He did legal pad notes. And we were 30 minutes in, and I have to get another legal pad. Hold on. But he filled up 2, and he's like just taking notes nonstop. And he's like, you're very nonchalant about all this. And I'm like, I've talked about it with other therapists.
Man.
And I'll try and tell him I was making progress with the other guy, but then I had to move so I can go to the appointments. I do love telehealth therapy. Because there's no reason I have to go to a doctor's office for that. They don't have to touch you. Actually, I think they get in trouble if they do.
No, they're not the type of doctors that should be touching.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the happiest memory from your childhood?
From my childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got this. I have them, I just gotta think. It's not as bad as it sounds, I'm just high. Oh my god, my family in Mexico is gonna see this. They didn't used to fucking care.
Isn't it funny how the world works?
Yeah, and I'm trying to take my siblings' names out of my jokes. Oh, and I do remember distinctly, I am proud of myself for this. So when I got into Skankfest and I was all excited, and like I think my grandma had just died recently, and me and my siblings had just started talking to each other again. Like we didn't talk for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I cut them off after they were like being dicks about the comedy thing. But so where was I going with that? What did I say before that?
You were saying Skankfest.
Oh, yeah. No, like somebody made another snide remark, and I want to make something perfectly clear. If I do make it by any chance, don't ask me for one fucking thing. And I'm like, don't ask me for a bus ticket, which you didn't give me to get to work, because you didn't think I'd pay you back. They used to be like really, they still are frugal. They're weird. Most of them are Republican. Nothing about Republicans, but just sometimes the things they say, you sound fucking crazy. But I also have liberal family members, and they sound just as fucking crazy. And I'm like, but there's like more Republicans, and I'll say shit that I forget's not okay. Or I'll send them, and I'm like, can you believe this guy freaking out over this? And I thought they'd be like, haha, that's stupid. No, their response is trans people can be a problem. And I'm like, have you ever met one? And
Yeah.
they're like, no. And I'm like, well, how the fuck would you know? So one time my sister said I watched Tu Wong Fu, and I'm like, that's a drag queen.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, I forget. Let me message my other gay friend.
I trust nobody who seriously identifies as a Republican or Democrat or liberal conservative, because they don't really understand politics and the purpose of those parties. The purpose of those parties were never for people to identify as being part of those groups. You get me? The party was never supposed to lead the agenda and the people follow. See, the party was supposed to be an organized means in which you chose a representative that more closely aligned with your values. But the whole idea is that you always, regardless of who was who or which party they were from, you chose a candidate that matched whatever you wanted to see happen within your community. Because at the end of the day, it's all community based. It goes from your city to your county to your state to your country. But at the end of the day, it's just giving you the opportunity to participate in the chance to have a voice and to choose someone who you think matches your values. Nowadays, people don't think for themselves. See, Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson or Rachel Maddow and regardless of who it is, they come online and they say, this is what I think today. And those people are also told what to do.
I haven't really listened to that many of those people.
Yeah.
I did watch part of the Ben Shapiro Joe Rogan episode. I am really enjoying the Joe Rogan experience now.
Uh-huh.
I started listening to it in case, I don't know, I'm gonna be like, hey, I like your podcast, because I knew I love his stand-up.
Uh-huh.
But the thing was, I didn't want to watch his podcast for 3 years because during the pandemic, I had a fucking asshole. I was living with the asshole, but he couldn't work because of the pandemic, so he got drunk all day and just watched the Joe Rogan Experience on a loop for 24 hours, just like episode after episode. And he started off at the earliest one available. But here's the thing, I have no idea what Joe Rogan had to say because he would not shut the fuck up. Hey, Celia, do you know why Joe Rogan's the greatest comedian in the world? And I'm like, I'd like to find out. I'm like, just shut up. And he would do this with movies too. He'd pause it and then tell me what was going to happen right before it happened and then hit play. And I'm like, why? We'd be watching, what did we watch? I think it was like some episodes of Community. Pauses. Alright, so they're about to do like this kind of Han Solo paintball episode. And he just spends, and then he'd like always stop. Okay, so if he wasn't saying how great Joe Rogan was, he'd just pause and Celia, do you think I'm funny? And I'm like, I've told you no so many times. And every time he was fucking surprised.
He probably was genuinely surprised.
Yeah, he got mad at me and he's like, you can't lie? And I'm like, okay, so you don't want to get better. And he's like, I want to be famous. And I'm like, then write a fucking joke.
No, doesn't everybody?
Yeah,
Everybody
like,
wants
I
to be
was
famous.
really hard on
Nobody
him,
wants
but
to do
like,
the work.
yeah. I wrote and I went to a fuck ton of mics. I tried. I don't know. But no, he wasn't really putting in the work. He was for a while, and we have a failed podcast together, but he deleted all the episodes that I was in. And most of it's me just yelling at him. It was me, him, Tristan Bowling, and our other friend David Case. And it was called the Fuck Shit Podcast. And he also loved Legion of Skanks, but he never played that. It was always just Joe Rogan. But he'd be all like, Legions of Skanks. And I found out about them like a year later, and I'm like, okay, now that I'm away from him, because I just really that name. I want to hear what this is about. And other people were like, oh shit, I gotta open for Big J. Okerson. And I get confused because there's Big J. Okerson, Big Irish J, and there's 2 other big somethings with J's in the names. But those are the 2, Big Irish J and Big J. Okerson. And I thought they were the same guy at first, just based off the silhouette.
Yeah.
But
So real quick, take me through real quick how was your first time getting up on stage and performing? What was your story about your first time performing stand-up comedy? How did that come about?
I was ambushed.
I said I thought about it. It was my mom was already dead and shit. But everybody just all the time told me I'm funny. And I think it's mostly I just say fucked up shit and they're like, what the fuck? That's awesome. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I guess I'm funny when I like give zero fucks.
Uh-huh.
So it was my funniest at McDonald's. I loved roasting the employees. I also
Would
got
you
in
do it
trouble.
privately or publicly?
It would depend.
Were you one of those people who do you see something you did like you'd tell everybody, you'd sit there and roast them to everybody else except them like the entire day?
Yeah, like my two favorite roasts I ever did was like we had to hire for diversity because our store was 96% Hispanic or some shit. So they overlooked like all the white and Native American employees and just hired like 10 black people like from NAU.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them were super cool. But one of them was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And he like you're allowed to wear a do-rag, but his was always dirty and had shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looked like just like mucus or dried cum like half the time. And he was in the kitchen. People could see it.
Mm-hmm.
It was black and there was a white stain. It's all that shit does not look right. But like I told him and I was in a bad mood and I was like running late and I had slipped on the ice outside. But it was him and a couple guys smoking a cigarette. And he's like, hey, are you gonna be a bitch today? And I'm like, because I don't care if my employees say shit to me either. And I'm like, as long as you do your job, you can say whatever the fuck you want to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked and I'm like, dude, we've been through this. And I'm like, come to work with a clean fucking do-rag or whatever the fuck it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't need people thinking we take food stamps. And everybody was just like, God damn. And then they went inside and the one black guy who was really good at learning Spanish, his name was Dakaya, he like was starting to tell them story, like translating for the Mexicans. And they'd be like, ah, and you just hear, ah.
Oh, I can't imagine you being the manager of McDonald's. I know that must have been a hilarious shift. So tell me, how do you miss the Phoenix scene? Like what?
So ardently. I love all of you guys here, most of you. Sorry, there's a
No, you
lot
can
of
be
people
on.
here. I don't know every fucking buddy. There's one motherfucker I can't stand, but I'm not giving him clout.
You worked the scene out there 7 years.
I did, well, 6 years, technically. My first year was in Flagstaff,
Okay.
which was one open mic every 2 weeks.
Okay.
We went
Gotta
off on
start
a
somewhere.
tangent and shit. My friend dragged me kicking and screaming to a mic.
Uh-huh.
And I told her I'm thinking about doing stand-up. And she's like, oh my God, you'd be so good at that. When's the open mic? And she's like, when is it? And she like goes and finds out by herself the next day. And then just ambushes me on a Tuesday. And she's like, hey, the open mic list drops at 6:30. I'm on my way to pick you up right now. You have 10 minutes to get ready. Don't run away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. And I'm going to go to the library. She'll never find me there.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to open the door. She would have found me. But I opened the door. I turned around to lock it. And she had a Prius, so she snuck up on me. And I turned around. And she's like sitting on the hood of her car, drinking her coffee. And she's like, I need you to try and run. I was around the corner the whole time.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, fuck. And I get in the car and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I said I thought about it. And she's like, would you feel better if I got you a shot of tequila? And I'm like, can I have two? And she said, you can have as many as you like.
Oh, man. I noticed in so many people's first stand-up stories, and it's the same with mine. A lot of people drink quite a bit their first time. I know I think I was drunk my first time on stage.
Here's the thing. The alcohol wasn't working that night.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I was only, like, doing shots.
I've never heard a statement like that. The alcohol was not working.
Like, I was freaking out because, like, I just felt adrenaline. Like, I was,
Oh,
like,
it wasn't
scared.
relaxing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't relaxed. I'd just be watching and I'm all like, why isn't the alcohol working?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd just be like watching everybody set and I just see these guys like crushing. But like every comic was funny. And there was like the guy who originally ran it, his name was Davey Latour. But he packed the shit out of that room. And Flagstaff is actually a very supportive community in a lot of ways.
Uh-huh.
But like he built a following and it was every 2 weeks. But there'd be like 70 people at the open mic just to watch. Mm-hmm. And only 10 comics would sign up. But like that night 12 signed up and in Flagstaff you get like 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh wow, that's quite a bit of time.
Yeah. because there's not that many, and everybody enjoys the comedy and pays attention to it. The
Okay.
ones who don't go out into the patio where there's, what's it called, fire pits.
Okay.
I love building fires.
I do too. I think
Okay.
that's something primal in all people.
I also love chopping wood.
Yeah.
I will chop wood and
I don't-
shovel snow,
I
but
don't
I
know
don't like
about
going
that.
to the gym.
I don't know.
I'm weird, but it feels like it's warm. But
Yo, I
It's
moved here
therapy.
so I wouldn't have to shovel snow.
fucking psycho.
Yeah, shoveling snow fucking sucks. It's a terrible.
Oh no, it sucked. I was gonna say at McDonald's. I
Mm-hmm.
did practically live there some days. But yeah, no, because Flagstaff actually gets like quite a bit of snow. We'll get at least like 2 to 3 major storms a year where it's 6 feet or some shit. Like there's a lot of feet, but then like plows like come and they just throw it to the side of the road and covers the bus stop completely. And I took the bus everywhere. So like I would have to scale a mountain of sharp ice wearing my non-slip shoes, and like it just like stacks like stilettos, so then you're like
turn your
walking
mic
on
off.
weird ice platforms.
It's gonna feedback.
But yeah, but I love the snow, and like my favorite thing to do on shrooms, like in Flagstaff, was I'd buy some and wait for a snowstorm,
Yeah.
and then I'd go walk the nature trails because there was like a couple right next to my house, or like I'd go off into the forest and I'd take yarn with me and I'd just mark off every 20 trees I passed. But like also you could see the footprints for the most part.
Was it fun living in Flagstaff? Was there a lot of outdoor stuff, or what did you enjoy to do most out there?
Right. I was a fat kid, and also was the weird girl with a limp. And I did not know how to shut the fuck up. Like when I was a kid, I was 24/7, and I also had this weird. I didn't have a stutter. My brother had a stutter for a while, but I hummed. So I'd be like, and you know what? It was like that, and my mom would call me her little owl sometimes. But yeah, like I did that, so I had to go to speech therapy. That it's like, okay, so how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Or like I just ended one time, like the therapist like started cracking up. She's like, it's almost like you're singing, and I'm like, but I did like, this weird humming thing, like I was a fucking anime character who just followed around the heroine, just cute and fluffy. I did a lot of outdoor shit with my brother.
So circling back around, because I know you're limited on time, and I don't
shit.
want to. Yeah, no, it's about 7:20.
Okay, I'm high, so it feels like way more time has passed.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
but
I do feel better.
I wanted to ask you. So how do you? You did say that you missed the comedy scene in Arizona, which makes sense because you
I
did.
should not do this high next time.
It's yeah. We will definitely do it next time. There's so much more I want to discuss with you that we just don't have quite the time to get to today. But I wanted to say, you said that you missed the scene in Arizona very clearly. You did 6 out of 7 of the years that you did comedy out in Arizona in Phoenix. So of course you're definitely gonna have a deep connection to the scene down there in Phoenix. How would you compare the scenes, and I don't mean in terms of which one you feel is better, but I'm asking, how would you compare the scenes in terms of efficiency, and like how would you compare the scenes in terms of your ability to get stage time and your ability to book shows? See, since those are the 3 big things for comics who are thinking about or considering moving to another place to do comedy, particularly Austin.
They don't like to book dark comics out in Arizona. Like more professional establishments, but I started getting booked by comics because they'd see me grind, and sometimes it'd be like, my set sucked. It's like, yeah, but I see you here every week, and then I see you at 2 mics the next day. He's like, how are you even getting around? And I'm like, I'm riding with Giuseppe, but on the days he can't give me a ride, I take the bus. And he's like, don't you guys live like all the way over here? And I'm like, I think so. And I was super broke at the time. I just left the homeless shelter. And the only money I had was to pay for the first month's rent. But yeah, and that shit fell through quick. Oh my god.
Oh man, I've had so many of those moments in life. I know exactly what you're talking about. You do not even have to explain.
It's the first time
You
I
do
ever
not
did
even have to-
cocaine.
Haven't did that one yet, but oh my god.
But,
I threw away some money for absolutely no reason when I'm already poor.
That's fair.
And I was super poor then.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't pay for it. It was offered, but we were having an eviction party.
Huh.
And one of them was like, let's do coke. And I'm like, what does coke do? And they're like, Celia, just do it. And I'm like, I don't want to. Just do it. It's like, why? You'll be able to drink more. I'm like, I guess I'll try it. And yeah, I didn't say that, but I get there and my friend Josh is, fuck yeah, it's the three of us boys. Because it was 4 comics.
Uh-huh.
And the guy who the lease was in his name and he kind of fucked us.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and it was stupid because I had my rent money, Josh had his rent money, and the 3 other guys didn't have rent money, and it was Super Bowl Sunday when they were saying this. So, yeah, we gotta figure this shit out, but Tuesday, can you guys get more money? And I'm like, no, this is all I have, and I don't have a job yet. Don't you work at Denny's? And I'm like, I have an interview at Denny's. Go there tomorrow and say you really need a job. And it worked. But no, for the rent thing, Josh did have extra money, and he's a tattoo artist. But he's like, hey, let's go to the casino. They had me do a tarot card reading for them.
Uh-huh.
And it's, oh shit, it says we have good fortune. And one of the dudes, Scott, he's like, yeah, let's go to the casino. That's a good idea. And give us all a reading. And it was like, oh, prosperity and all this stuff. And they're like, we're going to the fucking casino. I'm like, I'm not spending my rent money at the casino. And then Josh said, shut up, hooker, I got you. And gave me like $20 to gamble with. And I went to the blackjack table and proceeded to win more and more money. But Scott and Josh lost a lot, everything. But they'd come up and just grab stacks of chips at a time and walk off and just show up with beers. And I asked them to give me a beer like 4 times. And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get you a beer, we're gonna need more though. But they take turns. I gave all the tokens to, I don't remember who, he cashed it, and instead of paying rent, he took off with it and got a Jeep. I'm still friends with that man.
I'm dead. So real quick, because you're going to end up having to go soon to catch this show.
You keep saying that. It sounds foreboding for some reason.
Yeah, because it is, and I don't want to be the one to hold you up from doing that. And you live right across, so we always have time to do more content and more interviews or podcasts later, regardless. I just want to ask you real quick before we end up closing out real quick. How do you feel?
My pubic hair.
Huh?
What?
You got me.
Sorry.
Everything's so clear in the mic too, so you can just put the perfect cadence into it to where it just slips by and you have to think about it. I heard that so clearly in my ear, but it was so low that it just confused me.
I heard it clearly too.
Man, you threw me off.
I'm sorry.
That's why I can't be around you too long. But with your recent Kill Tony appearance just coming out and it doing so well and massively successful on TikTok and YouTube, and you just getting an outpour of success, being recognized in the street now, Austin has become this comedy hub, and so many people downtown who hang out at these places like around the mothership and stuff. I'm sure you've been recognized several times at this point.
Honestly,
how does it feel? How are you dealing with it?
It's weird. Because I'm used to, like, homeless people coming and asking me shit. But I'm used to that. So somebody gets like, hey. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I just gave oh, do you need, like, directions? Were you on Kill Tony? And I'm like, oh, yes. And I'll go, and I'm trying to limit my drinking. But I'm trying to keep it to, like, a tall can, a shot of whiskey now. But, like, that part been a little hard because people keep offering me drinks and I'm like, I want to, but I shouldn't, but I probably will. But for now, I'm proud of myself.
And you should be.
Hey,
You've done an amazing job. Sincerely.
The hallucinogenics have helped.
They help so much.
Yeah.
Especially for people who are into creative arts like we are.
Oh, a cop did stop me. And I thought he knew I was on acid. And I'm like, oh shit, the jig is up. And he said, hey, were you on Kill Tony? And I said, oh, yeah, I was. And they're like, we liked your episode. It's like, yeah, he made me watch it. You were good. And that was from the
It made
Ty
so
Rivera
many people
episode.
cry.
Yeah. That too. Oh, I know because
Was it surreal hearing that moment from Roseanne? I think that's the moment that really did
Yeah,
it for me.
like-
I'm like, oh my God.
I don't want to overestimate it, but
I've seen
3
you.
people have messaged me, like 300 messaged me just saying, I cried. And like, they're like, oh, you're an inspiration. We're so proud of you. It's like, we're rooting for you. Like, shit. God damn it.
Did you answer all 300 messages?
Yeah.
You guys heard it from her.
And I had some really nice talks with some of them.
She'll answer.
God damn it. You like
Yeah.
edit the
Yeah, I can. No.
like just the tear part. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sad. My voice is just wavy. I'm going through puberty, bro. You. Sorry. I was uncomfortable.
No, but I want to tell you, sincerely, be proud of yourself. Enjoy your moment. It's okay to cry. You came a long way, and it was not an easy journey. And I'm sure every comic and every person who's ever experienced trauma or went through something tough as a kid, to watch you go from the bottom and climb your way to the top, and you still struggle with things. You're not perfect. But that's the beautiful thing about you, is that you're not trying to be perfect. You're just revealing to the world that this is what I like to do. I like to make people laugh. And if you can sit in and enjoy a good laugh with me, then we can be friends. And that's the only requirement for you. Is that, hey, let's sit and have a good time. Nothing else in the world matters. And it's the reflection of a truly pure spirit. And I think it was Gandhi, I believe, who said, I've seen children surmount like the most
Oh my god, kids are fucking awesome.
the most terrible circumstances and the most inherited evil because they have a pure soul. And you're one of those people who I believe truly has a pure soul. And regardless of whatever issues that you have to figure out or you're going through as an imperfect human, I wish you the best of luck because you truly deserve everything, all the good fortune that's coming to you as a talented person. And I think everyone in the world is going to enjoy seeing your journey as you grow and find yourself and become a fucking rock star. Because that's what that's what you are. That's what you will be for sure. You will go down. Just stay consistent and love yourself.
I do want to say thank you for all the support.
Yeah. It's easy to get behind somebody as humble and great as you. People will throw themselves at your feet. I did it from the moment I saw you. I'm like, fuck. I want to be like her so bad. No way. A woman? A woman is this way? I'm just joking. There's plenty of funny ones, but truly, you're not even. I look at you as just a talented person.
Oh, it was funny. Like, my first year, everybody just thought I was the other comic's girlfriend at first. Oh, so are you here to watch your boyfriend? And he's not my boyfriend. Okay, but you came to watch your friend, right? And I'm like,
I'm here to.
yeah.
I'm here to kill.
Yeah, no. I'd just be like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay.
I know you wouldn't say that, but that's what you said. You would never say that, but
No, when I was first there, I was super shy when I moved to Phoenix. Because also, this sounds stupid, but I thought everybody who performed in Phoenix was like a paid, successful comedian because it's Phoenix and it's a big city. And I'd never really been. And I met a lot of cool people at, not Skankfest, Big Pine Comedy Festival, because they used to do it in Flagstaff. But I met so many good, talented people, and they were nice to me. And I'm like, oh shit. And one of them was my friend Hector, and I meet him, and he's a Latino comic. That got me excited, because there was like one other girl comedian at the time in Flagstaff. But it was me and 10 Jews. That was the comedy scene.
Hey, I bet they wrote some fire ass jokes though. You know what I almost.
That's what I thought. Like, I don't know. Mel Brooks just built up your.
I don't know what it is about
Just
almost every Jewish comic that I met. They're fucking fire with the joke writing. Maybe not the
Actually,
great
yeah.
performers, not the greatest performers. And I hate to stereotype, like that's fire joke writing though.
Yeah, no, actually, a lot of them were really talented, and yeah, they were nice to me too, and they were explaining open mics to me, because it's like, how does this work? It's like, hey, you just come practice your material. And I'm like, okay. And then what? And they're like, you practice your material. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, just do the same jokes over and over again. But the thing was, like, when I said they had, like, a repeating audience,
Yeah.
like, I thought they wouldn't like me if I got boring. So, like, I tried to think of new shit to talk about each week. It was either, like, talking about my sex life and or bitching about the people at work. And just bitching about the customers at work. It was just me going off for 20 minutes about how fucking retarded are you. That you can't see the ice cream machine is down on every fucking... It's a, like...
As somebody who's worked at both Walmart and McDonald's at one point in my life, I can tell you, I truly understand hating the general public when it comes to working customer service.
It was on the traffic cones. It was on the speaker box. It was on the windows. It was on every door. It was in the slide in Playland. I don't even think the kids who can fit in Playland can read that fucking sign. They're like 5.
Oh, you want to know something crazy? Like
So many people shit in there.
the most similar thing that happened to me was like when I worked at Walmart, people would come in for something like the Oculus. The Oculus had just released at the time, I believe. And people would come in and they go, hey, do you have the Oculus? And I go, no, it's out of stock. Everyone came and got that this morning. All the ones that were in this, but they say it's on the website. It says it's here. I'm like, okay, let me scan just so I could provide them some proof in their face, even though I've already went through this 20 times today. And I can't just say that to them. So I had to scan it in front of them and show, oh, 0 in stock. And then they always have to ask this question. And this is why it just truly makes me want to snap on the inside. Can you go check in the back? No, I can't go check in the back. Of course, I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to pretend to go check in the back. I'm going to step back there for 3 seconds. I'm going to walk right the fuck back out, and I'm going to say no. And we also didn't have it in the back. I don't know if you had noticed, but when we had looked at the app, that's what it had said. We keep a pretty tight ship around here. And they always walk away mad. We're still in the... where, like, the employees are hiding the last 3 under the desk.
It could be partially the bipolar disorder, and because I got off the meds for a little bit, and it was also before I got sad, and I wasn't allowed to be sad in my family, so I just acted angry, because I tried to talk about being sad and it didn't work. But that's another thing. But yeah, no, I should have been fired so many times because I went off on the customers too. Not all the time.
Oh, I would do shit like that too, but what I would do is I know I'd have 2 or 3 times where I could do it, so I would say some real wild shit one time under my breath, and I'd pretend like the lady was crazy, because there are those crazy customers who just make shit up. I know I'd get 1 or 2 times where I could do it. For instance, one time, this lady was coming up and she had asked me to fix her phone, and she was mad that I wasn't a phone technician. Though I work the mobile phones department, like, I'm not a phone technician. I don't know how to fix a phone that's not charging. And people would come up with problems like that all day. And she got furious. She was furious. So she was asking me to fix her phone. And I'm like, bitch, this is the last flip phone on earth. This is the last flip phone on earth that you have. And she must have tried to go tell my manager that I told her that this is the last flip phone that exists on earth. Like, and I'm like, but I'm such a sweet person. I'm like, I did not say that. I promise you, I didn't say that. Like, the lady is lying, trying to get something free. That's always what I was used. Like, they're trying to get something free, because everybody who worked at the front desk could relate to that. Like, people just making up weird shit to try to get something free.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck about that. I'm like, fuck it, if you're hungry, I don't give a shit. But I stole food all the time.
No, but if you didn't put sauces in the bag at McDonald's, if you did shit like that,
No, I
honestly,
thought that was a
kinda
dick
deserve-
move.
Yeah, that's really like one of the most scandalous
like,
things on earth to
yeah,
do.
just tell me a number. I want 4. No, like 4. It's, yeah. So I'd give them 4. But like every time they said a handful, and I'm like, a handful is not a number. They teach you that at Taco Bell where I worked before. But I would walk to McDonald's because they had.
Yeah.
I was going to get Frappuccinos and shit, because we're Taco Bell, we don't have that. And it was like right across the street. But I go, and this lady was like, can you grab me a salad bag? My uniform looked nothing like their uniform. And there was a Taco Bell insignia. And it said Taco Bell, my name's Celia on my name tag.
Yeah.
And I had the fucking Taco Bell logo on my hat. Big purple with a little yellow bell. And she's like, yeah, can I get a salad bag? And I'm like, I don't see why not. I didn't think about it. And she's like, go get me a salad bag before I talk to your manager. I'm like, okay. So I walk, like I wait in line.
People act like talking to your manager will like resulting you being executed. That's
Well,
not.
here's the thing. Of all the times like I should have gotten in trouble. Okay, so this story's better. This lady, it took her 20 minutes to order 2 things. And I'm like, ma'am. And she's like, yes. And I'm like, where is your caretaker? And she's like, what? I'm like, your caretaker, where is he or she? And she's, what do you mean my caretaker? And I'm like, I refuse to believe you made it this far in life by your fucking self. And the 4 people behind her in line were just like, oh. And my boss came around the corner. It's like, I will have a word with her right now. And he takes me to the back and he's like, to the other office, which is the walk-in fridge. We go in there. And we both just started laughing. He's gonna have to write you up. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, worth it.
But Celia, it looks like our time is drawing to a close. You do have to get down to go do a show. You are a busy woman these days.
Yeah. And I walk slow too. Yeah. But yes, it has been a pleasure. And
it has been a pleasure. Just closing thoughts. We wish you all the best in your journey moving forward. Of course, we live right across from each other, so I see you all the time. You're one of my greatest friends here, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure watching you come to Austin.
Okay. I do want to ask one question before this is over.
Okay.
Now that Mexico has shown the aliens, do you think David Jolly's still gonna smash?
Yeah.
Gang violence.
And I am too.
They're so little. Fucking tea.
Oh, they look like they Invader Zim. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, those. But those aren't real aliens, though. Yeah, but that is crazy. But yeah.
The thought just makes me happy.
Me too. I would love if we had solid, great-looking aliens. Just imagine they could turn into whoever you
want.
The
green woman from the first Star Trek.
Yeah.
And that blue bitch who got eaten by Jabba in the second movie.
Or
the 4th movie.
Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ew, she was pretty. I liked Ryoko the space pirate.
She was fire too.
Tenchi Muyo?
No, but I tried to play it off there for a second.
Okay. All right, but here's the thing. We'll talk about it later, not on this. But her name's Ryoko, but I low-key think they ripped Rick and Morty off of her. They definitely did Doc and Hudson, but it came out in the 90s. She was an international galactic terrorist wanted by a police federation. She blew up planets, which is why she was wanted by the police federation. But she also had superpowers, and she was part demon. And her spaceship was a Cabot. Yeah. It was a Cabot. She threw it up in the air and said, Ryoki, which is his name. And he would turn into a fucking pirate ship. And he fucking meowed. He loved carrots, and he turned into a big-ass pirate ship that could fit all the rest of the harem, because it was a harem anime. But, it's funny.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later. I know you got to get up out of here.
Oh, shit. I do need to leave. Sorry.
I will catch you.
Take this off before I forget.
That'll be a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us today, Celia.
Sorry.
We're out.